Awasichiu. Hey everyone, welcome to a chilling video where we dive into 3 true horror stories that'll make your skin crawl. These are real accounts, no paranormal stuff, just the terrifying reality of what people have experienced. Let's get started. Story number 1, The Nighttime Intruder. In 2019, a woman named Sarah lived alone in a small apartment in Chicago. One night, around 2 a.m., she woke up to the sound of her bedroom door creaking open. She froze, thinking she must have left it ajar. But then, she heard soft footsteps on the carpet. Her heart raced as she lay still, pretending to sleep. She peeked through her eyelids and saw a shadow moving toward her dresser. The intruder, a man she didn't recognize, was rummaging through her things, completely unaware she was awake. Sarah didn't have her phone nearby and her apartment was on the 3rd floor, so jumping out the window wasn't an option. She held her breath, praying he'd leave. After what felt like an eternity, he grabbed some jewelry and slipped out. Sarah waited until she heard the front door click shut before bolting to lock it and call the police. They found fingerprints matching a known burglar who'd been targeting apartments in the area. Sarah moved out the next month, unable to feel safe there again. A few weeks later, Sarah learned from a neighbor that the same man had tried breaking into another apartment in the building the following night. He was caught after tripping an alarm and arrested with stolen goods from multiple homes. Sarah started checking her locks obsessively and installed a security system in her new place. She also joined a self-defense class, determined never to feel that helpless again. The thought of him standing over her while she slept still haunts her. Story number 2, The Ride Gone Wrong. In 2021, a college student named Mike was hitchhiking in rural Nevada to save money on a trip home. A pickup truck pulled over, and the driver, a middle-aged man, seemed friendly enough, offering to take him 100 miles closer to his destination. Mike hopped in, grateful. About 20 minutes into the drive, the man started asking weird questions like whether Mike traveled alone often or if anyone knew where he was. The vibe shifted, and Mike noticed the driver kept glancing at a duffel bag in the back seat. When Mike casually asked what was in it, the man snapped, "None of your business," and sped up. Panicked, Mike made up a story about his friends expecting him at the next gas station and texted his location to a friend from his phone, pretending to check the time. At the gas station, Mike spotted a rest stop and asked to get out, saying he needed a break. The driver reluctantly pulled over, and Mike grabbed his backpack and bolted, hiding behind the building until the truck drove off. He later learned from local news that the driver had a history of picking up hitchhikers and robbing them, sometimes worse. Mike never hitchhiked again. He reported the incident to the police, who tracked down the driver a week later after another hitchhiker escaped a similar encounter. The man had weapons and duct tape in his truck, confirming Mike's worst fears. Mike now warns others about the dangers of hitchhiking and sticks to public transport. He still checks over his shoulder when traveling alone. Story number 3, The Stalker in Plain Sight. In 2023, a woman named Emily, who worked at a coffee shop in Seattle, started noticing a regular customer acting strange. He'd come in daily, always sitting in her section, staring at her for hours while barely touching his coffee. At first, she brushed it off as him being socially awkward, but then he started showing up at her gym, her grocery store, even her apartment complex. She never saw him follow her, but he'd always be there, watching. Emily reported it to the police, but they said they couldn't do much since he hadn't threatened her directly. One evening, she found a note slipped under her door that read, "I know your schedule now." Terrified, she installed a security camera and caught him on tape lingering outside her building at night. With the footage, the police were able to arrest him. Turns out, he'd been fired from a job for similar behavior and had a restraining order from another woman in a different city. Emily now carries pepper spray and checks her surroundings constantly. After the arrest, Emily discovered he'd been keeping a notebook with details about her shifts, her car, and even her friends' names. The police found it in his apartment, along with photos of her taken from a distance. Emily quit her job at the coffee shop and moved to a new neighborhood. She now advocates for stronger stalking laws and shares her story to help others recognize warning signs. Months later, she learned the man had violated his parole by contacting another victim, proving he was still a threat. Story number 4. The Wrong House. In 2020, a couple named Tom and Lisa were staying at a rental cabin in the woods of Oregon for a weekend getaway. Late one night, they heard a car pull up outside. Thinking it was a neighbor, they ignored it until someone started banging on the door, shouting to be let in. Tom looked through the window and saw 2 men, one holding a tire iron. The men claimed they were at the wrong address, but they kept trying the door handle and circling the cabin. Lisa called 911, whispering to avoid being heard. The men started smashing a window, and Tom grabbed a fireplace poker to defend themselves. Before the men could break in, police sirens scared them off. The cops later caught them a mile away, drunk and with stolen goods from another cabin. Tom and Lisa cut their trip short, shaken by how close they came to a violent confrontation. They later found out the men had targeted the area for weeks, breaking into vacation homes. Story number 5. The Delivery Trap. In 2022, a man named David ordered food delivery to his apartment in Atlanta. When the delivery guy arrived, he seemed nervous, asking to use the bathroom. David let him in, but noticed the guy was looking around too much, not just heading to the bathroom. Feeling uneasy, David stayed near the door. The delivery guy came out and asked for a glass of water, which seemed like a stall tactic. David said no and asked him to leave. The guy got aggressive, demanding cash, but David pushed him out and locked the door. He called the police, who found the delivery guy in the parking lot with a knife and zip ties. He wasn't a real delivery driver, but someone using the app to scout victims. David now verifies delivery people through his peephole and never lets strangers inside. Story number 6. The Parking Lot Ambush. In 2024, a nurse named Rachel was leaving her late shift at a hospital in Dallas. As she walked to her car in the dimly lit parking lot, she noticed a van parked next to her vehicle with its side door open. A man approached, asking for directions, but he kept getting closer, blocking her path. Rachel sensed danger and backed away, pulling out her keys and pressing her car's panic button. The alarm startled the man, who ran to the van and sped off. Security footage showed he'd been waiting in the lot for over an hour, likely targeting lone workers. Police linked him to several assaults in the area. Rachel now parks closer to the hospital entrance and walks with coworkers at night. Thanks for watching these unsettling true stories. Stay safe out there.